Today, we are going to make some grass. No, I'm not in Colorado, so it's not going to be that kind of grass. It's our techniques that are so simple and sensible, your mowers will practically build themselves.
Well, folks, it's Mad Dog Merv, and today we have an update on the shelf layout. This is our first update of the new year. I know we're clear into April, and I've been so busy with a lot of different things going on in life. My morning coffee series, I kind of give you a little bit more of the behind the scenes of some of the things that are going on. And if you haven't checked that out, feel free to check that out and kind of tell you all of the some of the behind the scenes stuff of what's going on with the layout or with the builds that I'm doing, and just kind of in general. It's like us sitting down having a cup of coffee together. So anyway, today I want to update you on what progress I have made in getting the layout up and running for the year. And yes, I finally have it running. We didn't do a St. Patrick's Day train this year. We didn't do an Easter train this year either, or that February 14th, that dumb holiday. Anyway, we have something though for April, and we've done a couple of upgrades here on the layout. So today we are going to look at those things. Stick with us and check it out.
So you remember most of the winter my workbench and the train layout looked like this. That collection that I got just took up everything and was just everywhere, so it was all covered up. Remember that pool that I had by the motel? I have a friend who was retiring after 39 years. He hasn't been able to get his pool in his new home finished yet because of problems with the HMO, so guess what? We decided we'd, quote, finish it for him. So I put this on a stand, and there I am, and presented this to him so we'd have a finished pool.
So we're going to take this little tree here. This already has some of the little pink flowers on it, and it has some orange and red as well from sitting where it sits the rest of the year when it's not springtime. And I'm going to take some of the Hobby Tack adhesive from Woodland Scenics. It's very tacky, like me. And I'm just going to daub all over like this. On our little tree. I'm going to do a little on the underside here. Not way down low, just up high. Okay, now we're going to take our pink flocking material and just sprinkle it, sprinkle it all over, liberally. And kind of shake it off while I go. And voila, you see there's a lot of pink there. But if you look at the real trees in nature this time of year, you'll see there's a lot of pink on those trees. In fact, there's hardly any green. It's mostly pink. So anyway, here's another one down, and we'll keep moving on.
And here's how they turned out. I made several of them so we can just kind of stick them all over the layout. We put away all the models only to reveal all the dirt and nastiness and some of the damage that had been done to the train layout. So I got out my airbrush and I blew everything kind of one direction. You can see half of my swamp is kind of been cleared, and the other half of the swamp, holy smokes, you can't even tell there's a swamp there. Here's a close-up of it. Ugh, look at all that crap in there. I think we're going to have to get out the vacuum and vacuum this up.
Okay, so after we vacuumed it, now we're going to take, it's just some soap and water, dish soap and water. I'm going to spray that on there. And I'm going to take this rag, and I'm going to get any residual dust or, you know, anything else off of there that I can. Just want to make sure that it's clean as I can get it. And yes, I am leaving some little things on there, and I'll clean those off in a moment. Okay, now that's dry. I've cleaned everything off that might bug me. Okay, and now I'm going to take some this Pledge Floor Care, whatever it's called this week, but this is the bottle I had from a couple of years ago, and you can see I still got quite a bit in it. And I am just going to take this, and I'm going to put some there on the water. And all I'm going to do is take my brush and even it out. I didn't want to use quite this much, but I'm going to even it out a bit. So just make sure that it's got everything covered that I need it to cover. And we're going to wait for that to dry, and we'll come back and take a look at it.
And I come back later in the day. It's dried and it looks pretty good. There's a little bit of a shine there to it, but it definitely looks like a swamp again, so yay for me. Yeah, not too bad. So just to the left of the swamp, we're going to clean up our road a little bit. I'm going to repaint this in kind of a little darker gray, but anyway, we've got to clean it up. It's all filthy. To the left of this area where the pool used to be, I think I'm going to do like a little military park with a statue. So here I've got a piece of styrene. I've got gray craft paint, a black, a white, a brown. I've got an old plastic drag slick, thank you very much, some railing, some Elmer's glue, and some plants. And here's what we're going to do. So I'm going to take this figure. This is just the figure. He's a 48 scale Navy pilot. I've glued the drag slick down, and I started to paint some walkways around. I'm going to take some of this strip of styrene here. I'm going to form it into a circle. I'm going to place this on top of the drag slick. So for the bronze color, I've got copper, Tester's copper, and I've got a dark brown. It's an old Floquil color. And I'm going to mix these two together to come up with the bronze that I want. You can see I've painted the figure, fixed him to the plastic there. And then I'm going to mix up this kind of a gunship grayish color, and I'm going to paint the drag slick with this color here. And after I paint it, I'm actually going to sprinkle on some baking soda to give it kind of that rough texture. And you can see here what it looks like, but that's not the final. Wait, you'll see it later. And here I'm going to fix the figure on there, the bronze figurine. So far, so good. Now, we're going to take some of the Mod Podge. I would use glue normally, but I decided I wanted to use Mod Podge here. And I'm going to take these areas where, and I've already put some some earth down, some sand down. I'm going to go ahead and put the Mod Podge over this, and I'm going to take those little flowers that you saw earlier. These come pre-made. I think they're great. I want to add some color. It's springtime. Come on, I got the pink trees. I want to add some color. So here we go. We're going to add these plants around this little statue, you know, little military park type of thing. And here you go. Here's how it finally turned out. Not too bad. I kind of like that rough look on the stand, and well, off to the next phase. So you might remember last fall I had this miniature golf course slash go-kart track that I was putting together as a module here in the center. So we're going to go ahead and do some more work on this. Maybe we'll get it finished up, we'll see. But you can see how far I got on it back in the fall. We're going to continue on. I've got some areas here that are rocks. Also, I took some plaster of Paris and made some little rises and whatnot to simulate areas you would divide the different parts of the miniature golf course with. This paint is just some house acrylic latex interior paint in a beige color, watered down a little bit. You can see there's a lot of areas to paint on this, and of course I'm going to have to come back and do some touch-ups. I'm going to have to go over it with a couple of other colors to make it look right as well. So here is the gloss gray, and I'm going to use this for the face areas of the retaining walls and the face part of the bridge. So here I'm taking some red paint and I'm going to paint the outlines around the green, kind of like a walkway, if you will, but just kind of how you would paint a warning area so you don't trip and fall, you know. So that's what we're going to do here. So once I'm finished with that, I'm going to make some walls out of some very thin beadboard. And you can see I've attached it all the way around, super glued it in all the way around. And this is going to be like the retaining wall for the go-kart track, and there you go. I'm going to paint one side of it in the gloss gray, and I'm going to paint the top of it gloss gray, and then the inside of it I'm going to keep all white. Figured if you were driving on the track you'd want a white wall so you didn't run into it. So here we go. I'm starting to put on some foliage. Here is some clump foliage that I've got, as well as some fine ground or coarse ground foliage material. I'm going to put some flowers on the coarse ground, and on the clump foliage that's just going to simulate a bush. After Easter, Grandpa grabs all the extra candy, puts in this container, and as the grandkids come out, they can have a treat from time to time while they watch the train run. Kind of a fun little way to get them out there to watch. So, for my April train, I decided to get Jupiter out because, well, I received a special car in the mail from one of my viewers. I decided I was going to work on my Lincoln train, my Lincoln funeral train. And here's a couple of the cars that I currently have in that train, but you can see here I finally got the River Rossi Lincoln funeral car. It's going to need a lot of work to get it accurate. And here's our little Lincoln funeral train so far. Looks like I need to clean the track a little better. We're a little jerky here. And finally, here's our little military park. I got a couple of Roco tanks from that collection, and well, there's our little statue. So, like the way this turned out. Hey, thanks for joining us, folks, and we'll see you again next month.